Hello and welcome to another Brad and Chloe video. In this video we have some exciting news. But first, okay, much better. So the exciting news is that we are finally pre-approved for a mortgage on our second house hack. This is really exciting for us because it has been quite a few months of working towards this, finding a job, and then working with many different lenders to try to get them to approve us. So again, just some background on us, on Brad and Chloe. Again, we're all about house hacking, financial independence, and adventure. And so back in November, we moved out of our first house hack, and we also quit our jobs to move from Colorado to Washington. So over these past 3 to 4 months, we've been working hard to find a job so that we can use that job as income for another house hack, for our second house hack now in the state of Washington. So I finally found and started a job back in mid-February, and at first I was a little worried with this job because I thought because it is hourly and contract work that maybe the banks would not count that for a home mortgage, but it looks like that will be just fine. They will be able to use that income for this second home loan, which we're very excited about. That is a big win for us. So getting in contact with a lender and getting your pre-approval letter is one of the very first and one of the easiest steps in your home buying, house hacking purchase process. It is pretty easy to do. All you have to do is reach out to a lender and they will walk you through your whole financial position, at what, if anything, needs to change, and how much you're approved for, so that when you go out to buy a house hack, you are one, approved, so the seller and seller's agent know that you're serious, and second of all, you know how much house you can buy, how much you're qualified for, so you're not going out there and putting offers on houses which you can't lend on. I have my pre-approval letter right here on this computer from a lender, but first let's go over kind of the process of how they approve you and specifically how they choose an amount. So they're really going to look at your debt to income ratio, or your DTI. So this is all of your monthly debt services divided by your monthly income, and that ratio, that percentage, is called your DTI. So let's go through my DTI and get an example of how they approve me for this amount. So first of all, the income side, transparency time, I do make $40 an hour at my job, which on a monthly basis, pre-tax, that is right around $7,000 a month. And then on top of that, I do have that rental income from the Colorado house. But something that I learned, again in this process, always learning, is that the banks will actually only count 75% of rental income. This is probably just because, vacancy and capex and maintenance, like all these other expenses usually come up. So I guess 75% is just the number they use. So taking 75% of the rent from that house, which is $23.95, we come out right under $1,800 a month, which actually is less than our monthly mortgage obligations on that house. So actually the bank does see that as negative cash flow because our mortgage is at $1,988. So that was something that I had no idea about, and I wish I knew before, obviously, but hey, it's better to know now. And it's not a huge deal, but it does definitely affect my DTI. Two other debts that are definitely affecting me that I would not know would are the debt that I actually have on our solar panels in Colorado, because we finance those instead of purchasing cash, and the same thing with those windows. Now, I do not pay the monthly payments on either of those yet, so let's walk through that. So for the solar panels, the monthly payment is $85 a month, but the tenants pay that every month directly to me. It's not even under the property management's fees, so there's no management fee. It's just $85 a month straight to me. I have statements showing it, and I also have proof in the lease that they're supposed to pay it. But the banks still will not take that for some reason. I don't know why. It's on my credit report, and they're not willing to just ignore that. So $85 a month is not huge, but it definitely is, it's a little bit. I mean, I think it's probably around $10,000 in purchasing power less than I would have. And then on top of that are these windows that we finance. So if you guys remember back in our previous videos, we got brand new windows for the whole house because the old ones wouldn't seal or lock. Anyway, they were expensive, but I did get one of those 2-year, no interest, no payments kind of loans. So I still haven't paid anything for those windows, and the interest does not start accumulating until December of this year, 2021. So I say to the banks, hey, I'm paying nothing on this. The monthly payment is $0. But they're like, no, what is the monthly payment going to be when the promotional period is over. And I'm telling them that that's not going to happen. I'm going to pay it off, I promise. But I guess my word is not good enough for them. So I did end up finding some documentation saying that when the promotional period is over, the monthly payment will be right around $419 a month, which is much more significant. That's more like $50,000 of purchasing power right there. So I might have to pay those off before the promotional period ends, before closing, but we'll see on that. That one is to be determined. Anyway, I know that's a lot of detail, but I hope you guys find value from it. And it's very specific to me, but these are kind of like these hoops you gotta jump through with the banks, and I'm learning all this every day. I'm calling new lenders and working with them and trying to figure out what will work for me. So without going into too much detail on DTI, those are kind of the big factors at play there. So now let's jump into what this pre-approval letter looks like. Okay, here we are on this pre-approval letter. Again, this is not a commitment to lend or anything. This is just an estimate based on an initial review of my credit and DTI, W-2s, tax returns, all that. So you can see right off the bat, $550 is my proposed loan amount. That is what they're saying I am pre-approved for. That is really a loan amount of $522,500 because of the 5% down payment. So this is just interest rate and APR. This is, again, just an estimate because the actual interest rate comes during closing when you get under contract. So LTV, because this is going to be a 5% down conventional loan, so that makes the loan to value, or LTV, 95%. You can see it's conventional 30-year mortgage right there. These are an estimate of all the closing costs, again, estimated. I mean, even on our first house hack in Colorado, we didn't pay any closing costs because we were able to negotiate that the seller pay those. But it is definitely a different market these days because it's a strong seller's market, low inventory, all that. So this is definitely a possible amount of closing costs to pay right here. So yeah, we don't need to go through all the different types of fees, but again, closing costs can be significant. So here's what really matters, the payment summary. So with this, proposed interest rate, 3.25%, then the principal and interest would be, right here. Homeowners insurance and taxes are, again, estimates. There's no way of knowing those exact numbers unless you have a property under contract. Mortgage insurance, I'm sure, is a little bit more exact because it's kind of just a percentage of the purchase price. But that is definitely much higher than what we were paying on our Colorado house PMI. We're only paying about $112 on that. So this is their estimate of what the monthly payment would be. So this is super helpful for us, knowing what the monthly payment is and knowing how much we can buy. And then this is also super important to know is we got the purchase price, we got closing costs, reserves, prepaid costs, and then as well as that 5% down payment, we're looking at an estimated cash to close right around $52,000. With this estimate of $550,000 of purchasing power, we might have to change up our strategies just a little bit, especially with the Seattle home prices. There are a lot of very expensive properties kind of up north or east of Seattle that we were kind of hoping to maybe buy a bigger house and rent the rooms out because we really like that strategy, which we can still do, but maybe in a different area, maybe somewhere further south of Seattle where the home prices are a little cheaper. And we would also very much consider buying another fixer-upper, buying someplace that needs some cosmetic work and doing some work on there, getting some equity, and then using the equity and putting it to work on another house. So again, that is all to be determined. But hey, this is very useful to us because now we know what to look for. We know, okay, this is a great house, but we're not even gonna come close to qualifying for it, so why bother? Let's focus on something more in our price range. In terms of value to you guys, the viewers, I think a main lesson to take away from it is that always be open to talking to people. Always talk to lenders. Maybe you feel like your financial position isn't going to work for buying a house, but you really want to buy a house hack, because of all the amazing benefits of house hacking. So really just get out there and start talking to people. I mean, just, be transparent about your situation, and you never know, maybe it'll work out. I was hesitant that this job would even bring me any income from what I've heard, but I just took the job. It's good pay, it's good job, and everything seems to be working out just fine. So obviously we'll keep you posted. Alright guys, we hope you found lots of value from this video, and we hope that you are enjoying following us along our financial independence journey. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, smash that like button, and let us know if you guys want any shirts. We are in the process of making more of these shirts, and I really like wearing them, so they're pretty good shirts. Anyway guys, have a great day, and we'll see you guys in the next video.